How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to read the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Elizabeth Warren's Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act gets 9 new supporters. According to a press release on Warren's official website, Democratic Senators Gary Peters, Dick Durbin, Tina Smith, Jean Shaheen, Bob Casey, Richard Benthal, Michael Bennet, Catherine Cortez Masto, as well as independent Senator August King, have all joined in support of this bill. Crypto is enabling rogue nations, drug lords, ransomware gangs, and fraudsters to launder billions in stolen funds, evade sanctions, fund illegal weapons programs, and profit from devastating cyber attacks, Senator Warren claims. She's very off kilter. Most people still prefer cash. That's been proven. The bill aims to close regulatory loopholes and bring the digital asset ecosystem into greater compliance. If passed, it would extend the regulatory framework that applies to traditional finance for AML and KYC based on the Bank Secrecy Act, but this also includes wallet providers, miners, and validators, so it's a little too much. I think it should just be like digital wallet providers. The miners and validators really don't have too much going on. They're just mainly worried about miners selling their coins to other people. The document aims to take action against non-custodial or unhosted crypto wallets like Ledger, which are described as software or hardware that facilitates the storage of public and private keys used to digitally sign and secure transact digital assets. So, anything that's not a hot wallet. Warren's legislative proposal comes down to banks and money services being the people that are going to keep your records and hold your coins for you. So they want to just turn the banking industry into the crypto custody industry. That's basically what our bill is trying to do. Hong Kong influencer arrested over JPEX exchange promotion. So social media influencer Joseph Lam Kok was arrested. He was among 6 different people that were detained by Hong Kong police in connection with the exchange. This was in relation to his promotion of the exchange. This exchange has no licenses and shouldn't have been operating in the country. Officers also seized evidence including a laptop and some of his cash as well. Prior to his arrest, JPEX has suspended the withdrawals, stating that due to unfair treatment, their third-party market makers have maliciously frozen funds. Lam is alleged that he was a partner of the exchange and had been responsible for promoting it to his followers, so this is why he is being grouped into it, because he is one of the individuals involved with making it. Citigroup will let rich clients use private blockchains to transfer assets. The Citi token service product uses blockchain and smart contract technology to allow its institutional clients to send money across borders quickly, Citi said on Monday. The technology will use a private blockchain, so it's not going to be open to the public. No one's going to have access to it except for Citi. Digital asset technologies have the potential to upgrade the regulated financial system by applying new technologies to existing legal instruments and well-established regulatory frameworks, said Citi's global head. So that's good, that's true. The idea, according to Citi, is to streamline the process of making large transactions by digitizing bank guarantees and letters of credit in trade finance ecosystem. The bank worked with integrated logistics company Maersk on a pilot to see how it would work in the shipping industry. Citi Token Services also has been applied to a global cash management pilot, enabling its institutional clients to transfer liquidity between Citi branches on a 24/7 basis, the bank added. So they have a few things going. Citi's mainly into the CBDC market, so I'm not too big on them. House of Mirrors, SEC demands urgent inspection of Binance US assets. So no big shocker, Binance US hasn't really given much material evidence in the discovery process, as we covered a few days ago. Not going to reiterate all the top that says that. The SEC has said that the exchange has failed to cooperate and stonewalled on entire categories of information that would likely shed light onto its shaky assertions concerning the custody of customer assets. The accelerating mass exodus of BAM employees, now including its CEO, and others who may possess crucial information regarding the custody, control, and availability of assets, underscore the urgent need for expedited discovery into these issues now, the document says. So Binance is saying it's all FUD, but the SEC is saying we don't really know much, like Shafu, they don't know much about this, and it's allegedly holding all of Binance US's coins, and it's allegedly owned by Binance. So there's a lot that they need answers on now if they're going to know what's actually happening. So over on our total market cap for the daily, we did get a scam break to our support resistance area, and we have been rejected by our Fibonacci levels so far. So if we close like this, that won't be too good for us, as we'll have a double rejection. If we can manage to inch above and close above it, we may be able to continue forward. Our stochastic's still pretty tight. Our RSI is trying to trend up. The VWAP's starting to kind of curl. The money flow's in a slight uptrend, and the momentum is trying to push up. So we are trying to get some strong signals up. This is kind of a bullish engulfing candle. So tomorrow's candle is going to be real important. If we get a strong green candle tomorrow and push into this area and hold, we could see continued price action forward. However, if we see a red candle, we're likely going to drop. And that's going to be true for our total and our Bitcoin. So very similar premises as we got our retests. We have been warning for this retest, so I hope you weren't surprised. This is a really long upper shadow candle, so that could end up showing that buyers tried to make the dominance go up, but ultimately selling pressure is taking over, and we could see continual price action down. This shows that buyers could not manage to keep price up here, and the sellers ultimately suppressed us, and they are even trying to push us lower. Our stochastic is trying to push up. Our RSI is pretty flat. The momentum's inching out. It does have a green dot though, as our VWAP and money flow are breaking bullish. So those are good for us, but with the way this candle's kind of setting up, I would be weary. If tomorrow's candle's red, we'll set up a topping pattern, make a little goofy double top, and reject away from here. So watch out. Over on Bitcoin, our futures, we are trying to continue upwards. We had a big scam wick from today's candle. It tried to push us to the top of our gapped area, and we didn't really hold, so we are kind of in between it near the bottom of our gapped area. Our stochastic is starting to roll away. The VWAP is starting to roll away. Money flow is still coming out. The momentum is pushing bullish because the VWAP's bullish, but with the VWAP weakening, that could change. Our RSI is starting to bend as our stochastic's weakening, so overall, I don't feel too confident for continual movement up right now. I could be wrong though, but we did kind of scam around on Bitcoin, so we do look a little better for continued price action here, just based on how manipulative this golden pocket is. If you're not familiar with golden pockets, see our golden pocket video. But if you're going to jump off to do that, hit that like real quick, subscribe, and then join us in the Discord. That way, if you need to know anything, we can help you out. We do have a reversal arrow that wanted to break us down, but we are trying to pump away from it, so that is trying to give us some good strength. We do have a bit of a long upper shadow candle here that could form though, so I would be weary. We are kind of stopping out of this value area low on our volume profile too, so a rejection right where we are would not be good. That would make us see further price action down. We need to kind of climb above this, hold above it, and get into the golden pocket if we're going to move to our point of control, which our point of control is right up here at 30K, 30.3, and then our value area high would be at 30.8. So we're going to need to hold above this 0.68 zone. Otherwise, if we start to pull back here, we're going to see a rejection from our volume profile. Our RSI wants to head up, stochastic's pretty maxed out, momentum's running up. Our VWAP was heading down. It's overall getting weaker, even though price action's pushing forward, but we are maintaining bullish strength. The money flow's really not picking up, so even though we're trying to pump up, there's not many people buying it showing. So if the lower time frames, the money flow is not very strong, we could end up seeing a bit of a rejection here. So this is sort of that topping pattern I was warning about on the daily that could form. So if we see this red candle continue or get further red candles, we could break this support, at which point we'll see lower price action. However, if we invalidate this pattern by getting a green candle and bouncing off support, we'll move into our point of control, at which point we could test higher. Our stochastic is running down, RSI is falling, we have a double red dot on our momentum, our money flow is pushing into the bearish territory, and our VWAP is falling bearish as well. So overall, we have more bearish pressure than a bullish pressure right now. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic is running down, RSI is starting to curl out, our momentum is kind of tapering off here, our money flow is starting to weaken, our VWAP's in the bearish territory. So overall, if we don't get some sort of a green candle after this red candle closes, we could end up getting that rejection, breaking down. This could act as some sort of a goofy double top on the 1 hour, I believe. Or head and shoulders, sorry, slanted head and shoulders. So this would be your shoulder, your head, your shoulder, and then we could break down to right around the middle of this, like bottom third of this range. Our RSI is starting to point down. Stochastic's starting to come out, our money flow is starting to round away, and our VWAP is stopping short of this neutral, so it wants to go bullish, but it's not quite getting there. So if our VWAP starts to curl from here, we're likely going to see a bearish trend start. Over on graph on the daily, we are trying to push to the top of our pattern, but we are getting stopped out by both our resistance and both our resistances by both patterns. Stochastic is running down, our RSI wants to move up, but our VWAP's not really going far, so medium term we're not really getting too much strength even though we want to push up. We're trying to make a bullish engulfing candle, but we're not quite there yet. So we do have possibilities for a continual upside from here if we can close a bullish engulfing candle and see continual price action up. But that would be dependent on the lower time frames, money flow, and VWAP being pretty bullish. Our daily, the VWAP's coming down. Money flow's in a bit of an uptrend, but struggling to get past this like 3-2-3 zone. So if it can't get past the zone and starts to curl here, we would be in danger of seeing another drawdown. Our momentum does look like it could start to curl as our VWAP's kind of flattening out and losing strength. So I would watch the lower time frames pretty closely. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we might have some sort of like a double top possibility forming. If that happens, we could see that break us down to this lower area down here. Our stochastic is starting to roll over. Our size overall starting to head down. Our momentum is starting to roll away, and our VWAP is breaking toward that neutral zone, toward the bearish territory. So it could fall into bearish territory and break us down if we're not careful. Our money flow did get a rejection of a bullish break up and tried to push through and didn't quite get there a second time. So overall, we are starting a bit of a bearish trend. If we make a lower low, it is likely we'll start to break down from here. Over on the 2 hour, you can see we're trying to chop sideways, so that might invalidate that double top possibility. Our stochastic is overall heading down, but could try to get a bit of a curl here. And if it gets that curl, that could push this resistance, and we could try to break out of it. At which point you would want to watch for a bounce and a bounce off support and bounce away from it. If we hit it and come back through, it's likely we'll just continue. Our momentum does have a green dot, but it is kind of topping out here as our VWAP's not very strong, so I would keep an eye on it. RSI is coming down because our stochastic's losing strength, and our money flows in the bullish territory, but not very strong. So VWAP and money flow are bullish, but they're not too strong, so I would really keep an eye on the 1 and 2 hour. If they flip bearish, it's likely we're going to start to push lower. Our RSI is starting to push out, stochastic's starting to roll away, our momentum's getting overall lower highs and starting to push away. Money flow is trying to come up in the bullish territory, so that is good for us, but it's looking a little iffy here. Our VWAP is starting to roll away after just breaking into the bullish territory, So it is very possible if the next couple of candles are red that we will see continual price action down. We also have a little bit of a gap right here, if you see, around that 88.3 zone that could end up filling. 88.38. Over on Anchor for the daily, we did try to push into our pattern, but we did not manage to break through it. Stochastic is pushing out, our RSI is trying to head up, the VWAP is overall pushing lower and trying to break that neutral, so if the VWAP breaks bearish, we're likely going to see lower price action from here, and this could act as a bit of a goofy double top. Our money flow is in a bit of an uptrend, but it's overall still in the bearish territory, so if the VWAP falls, we're likely going to break down. Our momentum does want to come up, but it's starting to roll away as that VWAP's breaking down, so keep an eye on both. Over on the 4 hour, we are overall in a bit of a down channel. Might be able to call this a descending triangle with a freak breakout, so we could see a breakdown from here if that is the case. Our RSI is overall heading down, Stochastic's heading down with a bearish cross. Our money flow has broken into the bearish territory with our VWAP, giving our momentum a red dot. So we're not looking too strong here for the 4 hour, and this little 1% gain may be retraced pretty quickly tomorrow if we're not careful. Over on the 2 hour, we have a manipulation X that wants to bring us lower. Our stochastic is pushing down, RSI is pushing out, money flow is overall arching out. Our VWAP has broken into the bearish territory and the momentum is breaking down. So overall, things are pointing more toward the bearish side. Our stochastic does want to get a bullish cross and push up, so we may be able to make a little bit of a rebound here. But if we don't start seeing some green candles after this candle closes, it's likely we could start to break down. Over on the 1 hour, we have a little bit of a gap right here at that 1831. I believe right here, about 1727. So we do have two gaps that we could fill, so don't get too excited. Stochastic is starting to head down, RSI is starting to curl away, money flow is zigzagging away from us, our VWAP is trying to push bullish, but it looks a little iffy. If the VWAP can claim bullish territory, that might bring the money flow with it. But if the money flow keeps zigzagging down and the VWAP rolls away here, we're likely going to get a leg down. Our momentum is pushing out, so overall everything is looking a little more to the bearish side. Like I said, we have those gaps that could fill. We also have a higher gap that can fill, two higher gaps actually, 1924 and about 1948. So it is possible we could get a scam pushed up, get everyone really excited, and then we could flush it out. So there is that possibility too. Over on XRP for the daily, we are trying to push our point control, but we're kind of getting stopped out here. If we can get a green candle and get above this point control tomorrow, that would be positive for us. But if we start to reject away, it's likely we'll test this value area low next. Stochastic is starting to diverge away with a bearish cross. Our RSI does want to push up even though our stochastic's losing strength, so the RSI pushing could be short-lived. Our VWAP is trying to push slightly, a little bit of a curl going on here that wants to pump us up. Money flow is trying to curl up. Our momentum is trying to push up, so we are getting a little bit hopeful, but we are still leaning a little more toward the bearish side here. So I would heavily watch these lower time frames. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we're kind of rejecting our pattern here and starting to fall away. We do have a long lower shadow candle, but it's preceded by a long upper shadow candle, so the bears didn't have much strength and then the bulls couldn't pick up any more strength after that, so we got a little indecision going on. Stochastic's starting to roll away, RSI's starting to roll away, momentum's starting to come out as our VWAP's starting to fall. The money flow is struggling to maintain bullish strength, so if the money flow flips bearish, we could see everything else start to break bearish as well. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic does have a bullish cross, so that wants to push us up, but we are getting a bearish engulfing candle here that could push us lower, and we could see that just flop. Our RSI is starting to curl with a red dot, so that could push us down, especially since our VWAP's breaking down and our momentum's starting to roll away. Our money flow is in the bullish territory, but it just can't really seem to get past this 15. So if it doesn't break above this soon, we could ultimately just see a rejection, as we're getting pretty flat here. So if we don't break above it, then if we break below this 12, about 13, then that could kick off a bearish trend. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a possibility for a little double top here that could end up breaking down, so we would want to see after the next couple of candles. That would likely be when this pattern would start to play, as we're basically like one candle away from a support. Our stochastic is starting to head down with a bearish divergence. Our RSI is starting to come down with a double red dot, so overall we're looking pretty bearish. Our VWAP has fallen into the bearish territory, so if that continues with some momentum and gets a lower low, that'll start a bearish trend that could bring us even lower. Our money flow did get bounced off the neutral twice, 3 times actually, but it is struggling to get above this like 13 zone. So if we don't manage to curl up and get above it, we could end up just seeing a rejection, but we're going to need to break below this 10 to have that rejection. So I would keep an eye on the money flow closely. Finally, for algo for the daily, like I've been saying the last few days, the meme coins are going to probably be Saturday and Wednesday. I didn't get any feedback on that, so that's probably what we'll do. Unless you have any other comments, drop a comment. But before you do so, hit that thumbs up and subscribe and join us in that Discord. We are trying to make a bounce off our support here with algo. Stochastic is overall getting a bearish cross. Our RSI wants to head up. Our VWAP's overall coming out. The momentum's starting to round away, and the money flow is struggling here. So even though we're getting this bounce, we're not looking too strong for a continual price action up. Over on the 4 hour, kind of have like a triple top going on, so this could end up breaking us down. Watch out for that. That's a pretty rare pattern, but they do exist. I don't think there's a quad top for anyone that wanted to ask that. Our RSI is starting to overall pump out. Stochastic's overall diverging away and dropping. Our momentum's getting a red dot here, breaking us down with our money flow and our VWAP falling into the bearish territory. So overall, we look pretty bearish here. If that continues on these lower time frames, we're likely going to get a breakdown. Stochastic is coming down. It does want to curl on the 2 hour. Our RSI is overall losing strength. Momentum's starting to come out. And our VWAP has fallen to the bearish side. So if the VWAP continues down from here, it could start to pull out our money flow. As our money flow was not able to get above this 22 and hold with strength, we've hit this zone a couple times and dipped. So it's very likely that since we can't hold above this zone, we're going to start to dip from it. Over on the 1 hour, we have 2 manipulation X's that want to bring us down. When you see them in pairs, that's usually when they play. Our RSI is starting to head down. Stochastic has a bearish cross, but this is on the 1 hour, so I would take those X's with a grain of salt too. Our money flow is overall inching its way out since we got that second top. We haven't really sustained any bullish trends for money flow, and it's overall inching away. That could be a sign that we could overall see it leak out. Our momentum is falling to the bearish side as our VWAP's breaking bearish as well. So overall, everything is pointing more bearish. I would keep a close eye on these lower time frames. If the money flow starts to flip bearish and the VWAP maintains bearish strength, we're likely going to break down. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Again, hit that like.